Right, to unpack those movements from today, we've got Makwe Masilela from Makwe Fund Managers. As always, Makwe, thank you very much for your time. Let's begin with those overall markets. I mentioned in my markets intro that the JSE are doing rather well today, over 0.5% to end off the trading day in the green. We saw the top 40, the all-share top 40 do well. The resources are doing well. Industrial stocks also going, showing a strong footing today. Your thoughts on some of the big catalysts that moved the local markets?
Good evening to you. I think the markets had no choice but to take some starting buying into the dips, because if you look what happened yesterday, it was more driven by the industrials going up, but financials were smacked. But today we see our financials doing better and our resources. And also we've seen that even other global markets, after a serious smack yesterday, people are just starting to buy more into the dips. And also we have to bear in mind that yes, so far for the year, the JSE is down almost 13.9%, and for the month is down almost 3%. But yes, our rent hedges continue to do okay, given that we know that the rent has been weakening. But we have to be cautiously optimistic, as we know that there are issues, especially with Russia, because Putin's ally has warned again about some nuclear attacks as well. And we know that economies generally are not doing okay. Just look at the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development. They continue to cut the forecast when it comes to global economic growth. And truth be told, I don't think markets have really priced in the possibility or the risk of a global recession.
Yeah, very interesting that you speak about rand hedges and so, because we have seen what the local unit has been doing. Although there was a recovery earlier on today, Makwe, about 17.75 rand. And I think after the Eskom announcement around the board being reshuffled, do you think that might have had an impact of us trading back to around 18 rand against the US dollar? I mean, this reshuffle that's been announced, surely, does it inspire any confidence? Is that why we're seeing that deep volatility in the local unit that we've been seeing in the late afternoon trade?
Not yet. I think it continues to be the question of the king dollar taking more of a breather earlier in the session, as we know that for the fact that people expect the US to aggressively increase interest rates, that as much as global economies might be slowing down, but the US economy should fare better than other economies. That continues to boost the dollar, and commodities didn't even come into play when it comes to the rent itself, as we know that the rent is very sensitive to commodity prices. And yes, with Eskom, I think it's more of a disappointing story more than anything, because remember the term of this board ended sometime in 2021, and for the fact that Eskom is allowed to have almost 13, maximum of 13 board members, but for so long people complaining about efficiency, leadership when it comes to Eskom, but the government allowed Eskom to operate with only 6. I mean, that cannot be right. And when they say they're going to be announcing, we don't know when, but the question here is, we know that it's not because of load shedding issue or the crisis, all because the term has come to an end. But it's very worrisome that that board has been lacking the necessary technical know-how, and anyway, there's been spaces or vacancies that they could have easily been filled without firing anyone.
Let's go on to some company results. Makwe Remgro, really just the investment vehicle of Johan Rupert, doubling profits in its results today. Very positive showing. They were able to issue a dividend of 100 cents. And also just the operating environment that they've had, given their operations or investments, including Mediclinic and so. What did you make of what they reported on today, and really just the medium-term outlook for the business?
Sterling results, we must say, and as we said, profits up 125%, the intrinsic net asset value up almost 20.2%, and you said the dividends increased by almost 66.7%, and all because of the improvement when it comes to the investee companies, the likes of Mediclinic, your Total Energies, your First Rand, your Distels. So I guess that was expected, given that the previous period was significantly impacted by COVID-19 and the lockdown measures thereof. But for me, of a concern is that we've seen that the guys are trying to acquire Mediclinic. The guys will be delisting Distel. The guys now have distributed your Discovery, your MMI, and First Rand shares. Rofhiwa, I'm just worried that this might be a sign that the company, which is a very prominent investment holding company on the JSE, might be preparing to exit the JSE itself.
Oh, that's a very scary thought, should it happen, Makwe. But of course, these are developments that we will continue to watch. Makwe Masilela, as always, thank you very much for your time this evening. And that's all your business and news for this hour.